Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. This is Unknown Kadath, or Lovecraft Unknown Kadath, something like that. Issue number 2. Freaky looking cover, huh? Pretty monstrous and gross and sick. What'd you expect? Look up here at the title, right? Great book. I love how we start off with this classic looking Little Nemo bit, going back to Carter's youth. It looks great, doesn't it? Oh, you can't really see the bottom couple panels here. Love it. Absolutely love it as he frolics with the cats on the moon. Like, that's important. This ties in with what happens later. It's a great way to start this off. And it looks good and it's poignant. It's got a different art style from the rest of the book. Because in the rest of the book, well, this is what happens when you get on a ship that you shouldn't have got on. Good job, Carter. So they're hauling him off, probably to sacrifice him to some sort of baleful ancient being. You know how it is. I mean, that's how life goes. And they pull out like stone flutes and they start playing them, and it's like disgusting music or whatever, which I'm not quite sure I understand the concept of. But that's one of those things about this genre is it confronts you with concepts that you probably don't understand, things that don't necessarily make sense. You know, I could understand like music that wasn't any good or music that was ugly but disgusting, like because when I hear that, I think like something that makes you want to retch, right? You're like, ugh. So, have you ever heard music that makes you want to retch? Something that's like bowel churning? I don't know. I don't know. But the good news for Carter is, while he's being led off like this, his buddies, the cats, attack. Cat attack! And it's a pretty great couple of panels as the cats just absolutely rend what were they, the Toadmen or whatever apart. This panel over here is just great. This could have been the cover of the book. I mean, this is pretty cool, but just like wall of cats. Like that should be a spell in Dungeons and Dragons, you know? Have like the Catomancer. Wall of cats! And suddenly there's like 100 cats all stacked up in a giant wall, leaping out to attack somebody. It'd be funny. So the cat's liberating, and I forget exactly where the staple is, but the cat's liberating, and they decide to move on. And so they do. He pops into a tavern. The cat asks some questions, and they're off on their journey. And here's the staple. So this is where we'll stop. So they're going up to Mountain Nagrinek, something like that. And they stop for the night somewhere. The cat warned him previously, like, hey, the city cat said not to sleep here. It's not safe. Well, they slept there. They wake up. Their ride is toast. So now they got to hoof it. As they keep hoofing it, they go up and meet some of the lava gatherers, or they just look like they're stonemasons or quarriers. And they put them up for the night, and then Carter sets out with the cat to tackle the mountain, to climb up this great peak. And from here on out, the dialogue lets down the art just a little bit. The dialogue doesn't necessarily sound that great when it's actually spoken, you know, with the text bubbles. In your head, it sounds a little better, but just kind of looking at it on the page, it's kind of flat because they're scaling this mountain. They're going up into like this creepy unknown. They encounter dangers, these holes in the cliffs of the mountain, of caves. The cat was warned about. They run into those. A storm approaches, but fortunately, it doesn't sweep them off the mountain. All kinds of shenanigans happen, and then they get around to the other side of the mountain and they see this giant, impressive feature that he was told about when he popped into that tavern a couple pages back and talked to the tavern keeper, who took him to like the back room of the tavern where there was like cool stuff, giving him a glimpse, you know, just a little glimpse of what his journey was going to be like. All in all, I am having a ton of fun reading this book. It's a blast. And if you're into this Lovecraftian stuff or horror stuff, or you just want something kind of weird where cats massacre an army of toadmen, well, you know, I got to tell you, this is probably the only book where that last thing is going to be happening because I don't see how anybody else is going to incorporate an army of cats killing a bunch of toadmen into their narrative structure. That's just a weird one. All right, you all take care of yourselves. I'm your host, Elizibar. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, for choosing to hang out. Be sure to click that like button, hit that subscribe, and Yeah, I hope to see you again next time. Until then, bye bye.